This is JC. Hi. I'm going to show you a little bit about my Trello board here for my goals. I'm going to go ahead and exit out of the window here. Just wanted to say hi. All right. As you can see, this is an example of a goal board that I've created to show you some things. I have my goal categories, long-term goals, yearly goals, quarter one goals started, quarter one goals completed. You can change the name of your board at any time just by hitting on the title of your board. And we'll go on the menu here, show you what's in here. You can change your background. You can add power-ups to your board. There are different tools you can use for your board. They're called power-ups. You can have one free power-up per board. If you want more, you have to get the business class, which is $9.99 a month, but I have never needed to do that. So for my goal boards, I use the calendar view. So you can just search calendar. And it pops up there. Shows I've already added it, so we can exit out of that. And right below your power-ups, it'll show you which power-up you have. Go under more. You have settings, archived items. This will show any archived items if you want to re-enable them. All right, we're going to go into labels. Here you have different colors. You can make different labels. As you can see on my boards over here, I've labeled each of my cards a different life category. That way you can keep track of which categories I'm working on, make sure I'm not missing any or working on too many in one category at any time. You can set your categories up however you like. For this board, I just picked a few: financial, health, education, etc. You can edit your label here, put in your name, pick the color, and save. Then after I do that, I go in and I just create a key for my first list right here. Goal categories. I make a card for each one. And you can label each card by pushing labels, pick the label, and then your card will be labeled. You can add strict descriptions if you like. There, once you have all your categories listed here, you have a key for your whole board that you can refer to. It just makes it easy visually to see which life category is which color. All right. First, we're going to start with our long-term goals here. You want to make a card for each long-term goal you have. I generally only pick up to 5-year long-term goals, but everyone prefers different things. Under the description, I like to add the year I started it, so I can keep track of the year I started it. And I make a checklist for each year that's going to be in that 5-year goal period. And at the end of each year, I mark off the items I've completed for that year. Once you mark all of them off, the progress bar across the top will turn green. And then next year you can hide those completed items and start working on your next year. Makes it really handy to keep track of everything so that when you make your goals for the following year, you know where you're at. I don't put due dates on there. And then I label each card. If one of your goals kind of goes into 2 different life categories, you can add 2 or even 3 labels there. And then your yearly goals, you make a card for each of those. What I do here, I also, not just goals I want to complete this year, but I also make cards for what I want to accomplish this year for my long-term goals. So I put all those action steps for my long-term goals into my yearly goals as well. That way your yearly goals get worked on also. I don't fill out a whole lot of my yearly goal cards. I put the label. I don't date them, but what I do is I date them as I complete them. So if I've completed some of my yearly goals in the middle of the year or 3/4 of the way through, I can see on each quarter when I start planning my new quarter goals, which yearly goals I have left to accomplish. So all the ones that are done, I'll move up to the top. If I add a due date to this and mark it as complete, you can see how I have 2 goals left and I'm done with 2 goals. That just makes it pretty handy to visually look at without having to go into each card and figure out where I'm at. All right, here's our quarter. You make 3 lists for each quarter. Quarter 1 goals, that's where you list out all the goals you want to accomplish your first quarter. This includes all action steps that you need to complete to achieve your yearly goals and any short-term goals that you want to add into each quarter or projects. I like projects, so I add my projects into my quarter 1 goals there. As you start your goals, you'll move your card from this list over to quarter 1 goals started. And as you finish your goal, you'll move it to quarter 1 goals complete. So let's go into this goal, mark it as complete, and then we'll move it down to goals completed. Really simple. Really, this is such an awesome app for keeping track of your goals and making sure you stay on track, keeping them organized. You'll feel so much less overwhelmed by all of it. All right, now a few things about your cards. If you mark your due date with a reminder for the day before, it will look like this the day before it's due. The yellow is a reminder that it's coming due. If it shows up in red, that means it's either due that day or it's past due. Green that you saw before is what it looks like once you've completed it. And goals that aren't coming due quite yet will just look like this in white. If you have a description for your card, it'll show these lines on the front of your card. If you have a checklist here in your card, it'll show how many items you have done. Once you've completed all of your items, it'll show in green. And if you have any attachments, it'll show how many attachments you have. So I think the next thing I'll show is how to add attachments. You can add attachments from your computer, Trello, Google Drive, Dropbox, Box, or OneDrive, or you can attach a link here. We'll go ahead and grab one from the computer. And I'll show you what a picture looks like. There's the picture I just attached. You can make any picture that you attach to your card a cover picture, and that just shows up at the top of your card. And when you exit out of there, it will show on the front of your card. Each card has a smaller menu. If you click the link on the side of the card here, otherwise if you click on the card itself, it'll open up to your larger card of options there. I went ahead and removed that. You don't have to keep your attachment as a cover picture, or you can if you'd like. It just depends on the board you have and how busy you want to keep it, I guess. Calendar view. This shows the weekly view. Shows the same on the date, the colors, if they're coming due, completed, or overdue. Any goals that are completed, you can see will be crossed through. It'll show the name of your goal. It'll show any descriptions or checklists you have for that goal. The monthly view shows a little bit less. It'll show the goal name. One cool thing about working in your calendar, if you need an extra day for your goal, you can go ahead and move it to the next day. That changes the due date for your goal. You'll be able to see that better in the week. If I move goal 5 to the next day, it then changes the date to the 25th. You can also click on the card in your calendar and access any of these things here. Makes it pretty handy. What I do on my phone app, I normally use Trello on my phone app. It's just a lot more accessible. I don't get on my computer as often. I open it up to the calendar view, take a screenshot of it, and then I use that as a screensaver for my lock screen on my phone. That way, every time I open up my phone, I see that. And that's a goal reminder, at least 100 times a day. All right, we'll exit out of there. Now, if you ever want to delete a card on the online version, you can't unless you add a power up for deleting cards. The only thing you can do is archive them. And the same with your lists and your boards. You can only archive them. If you use the app on your phone, you can delete cards. But the lists and boards, you still have to archive. Now you can put as many quarters on here at a time as you want. I don't usually go over 2 quarters at a time because it just gets too overwhelming for me, but that's entirely up to you. All right, so let's say we finished all of our goals for the year. Mark this as complete. Move all these cards over to our cards goals completed list. And we'll do one more. Goal complete. And we'll move that one over. All right, we've got this lonely little goal left here. All right, let's say at the end of our quarter, we've started this last goal, but we haven't had a chance to get it done before the end of the quarter. Don't sweat it. All you got to do is move it over to Q2 goals. Now, when you get started on your Q2 goals, you want to move that one over to started first. Get any goals that you've moved from Q1 to Q2 done first. That way they don't get lost in the shuffle. As you saw earlier on the checklist, you can create as many checklists as you want with as many items underneath as you want. As you progress through it, your progression bar looks like that. You can copy or move cards if you want to. What I do with my long-term goals at the end of the year, I go ahead and go up to that complete list there, and I will move or copy the list to my next year goal board. That way I don't have to redo it, and all the information that I've put in there for this year is in there. I also do that with my goal category board or list. Go ahead and move that list to the next year. That way that's already done. You don't have to keep repeating it. You can make cards at the top of each of your list as a description card like I did here. That's entirely up to you how you want to do that, but sometimes people like to do that. All right. If you want to, I think one thing I'm going to do next year that I haven't done is create a bucket list. That's how you add a new list to your board. And if I was to have that, I would put that in the front here, probably before my long-term goals. And as I add cards to the bucket list, let's put skydiving. I add different cards to this list and it grows. Each year I can also move this whole list to my next year. You can kind of keep track of all your bucket list items. All right, that's basically it for what I do with my goals. It makes it super simple. One thing about using Trello for my goals that I found is my goals get done. I don't have the problems I used to have with forgetting about my goals or being overwhelmed by them or not knowing where to start or what I'm supposed to do each day or each month to keep on track for my goals. So I hope this helps. If you have any questions or comments, go ahead and leave those in the comments section below this article and I'll answer them as best as I can. And good luck with your goals.